And now the Akash 2. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to be showing you the interview with Rajiv and I did with Mr. Tuli on all the controversies that have been surrounding the Akash 2. But I think before we go to those, we should spend a few minutes on the product itself. Because I have to say, Rajiv, a tablet like this, and specifically the screen on this, for a product that's going to be priced in the 2,000 to 3,000 rupees, 4,000 rupee range, I think it's fantastic.
And they're supplying it to the government for about 2,000 rupees. The government will subsidize it further to 50%, which means students will get it for 1,000. Now that's the big dream and the vision. The problem is, will they ever be able to supply the numbers required?
But let's just look at the product first. Now, when we first saw the Akash 1, we said, look, okay, it's cheap. It feels cheap. It's not easy to use.
It was clunky.
It's clunky.
The screen was
awful. To make the touch screen work was next to impossible. So I said, look, yes, it's cheap, but it also, it's not going to be that attractive to use. But yeah, maybe somebody who just can't afford it would use it. Now, the Akash 2, I can tell you, is actually a product that most people could use with absolutely no problems.
Yeah. See, I'll tell you what. Even at that time, we said, from whatever that tablet was, the Akash 1, the vision was great, the product was awful. Now, the vision continues to be pretty good, but the product is actually catching up to the vision. This is good stuff, and both you and me really like the screen. The touch screen.
The touch screen is fantastic. There's no issue with it. Okay, the resolution could be better. I'm sure there are lots of things that could be better.
Good stuff out here, but, at the end of the day, it's famous, and the reason we are actually doing it as a cover story is because this is the Akash 2 and it's supposed to be delivering on many other fronts. So those are important questions too. I mean, does this really hold that entire mantle of being made in India? Because it's been called the world's most inexpensive tablet, made in India. Is it?
And the other question is, when you say something is made in India, what exactly do you mean? Does everything have to be put together there?
Or are there
actually, if you look at the iPhone, they say it's designed in Cupertino. It doesn't even say made in. Does made in India mean it has to be assembled out here? What is the barrier? And some of those questions we are going to be...
All of them. I think we literally did go through it all. But let's take a look.
But the product itself, I have to say, one of the benchmarks on which this is going to be judged is the extent to which this can actually change the country. Because that's one of the promises.
Exactly.
This, in the hands of 50 million people, 100 million people, does it end the digital divide? Does it have the potential to do that? Those are some of the questions we also need to be looking at.
Including the software with it, yes.
So let's just first show you the Akash 2 in some detail. Take a look at the product.
Now, you may remember our coverage of the original Akash tablet. When it was made available, though we had a few problems with it, we still felt as a value for money proposition, there was almost nothing in the market that could compete with it. Now the Akash 2 is here. Let's see how the sequel to the most economical tablet on the market fares. Now the first thing you notice about the new tablet is how much better the form factor is. Thinner and lighter than the original and with a massive facelift to boot. The feature list has seen an upgrade as well. We start first with the 7-inch display. The biggest upgrade here is the fact that it is now a capacitive display, and while it's miles ahead of the original, its sensitivity still does leave a lot to be desired. The processor under the hood is an A8 1GHz processor with 512 MB of RAM on board, which provides enough power to drive the Android 4.0 OS. And yes, Ice Cream Sandwich is a massive improvement. The memory can also be bumped up to 32 GB via a micro SD card. The biggest disappointment here is the 3-hour battery life, which is something you have to live with if you invest in this device. Overall, for its price, it's a very usable tablet, but we also have to keep in mind that given the current price, there is nothing we can compare it to.
So the product, really nice, a big improvement on Akash 1. But now the controversies. Rajiv and I got a chance to speak to the man at the very center of it all, the man behind the Akash 2, well, data wins at any rate. Here's what he said to us just a short while back.
Time to get the last word on the Akash 2. More controversial than anything else and more path-breaking than anything else. With us, the person behind Akash 2, Mr. Sunit Singh Tuli.
But let's just start with some of the things that people are saying. Essentially what they're saying is what you've done is gone and picked this thing up from China and are selling this here under your brand name.
Packaged, ready.
You package it, but it's a Chinese product that you are selling.
That, of course, is false. And the way you can say and show that that is false is that nobody else in the world including the guys in China, landed in China, can match this price point. For a year, people have said, how is this possible? How can this be done at this kind of price point? We've always explained it. Our bill of materials have been published regularly, and we've explained the reason is that the LCD is made based on our IP, and the touch screen is actually made by us.
Okay, so can I just sort of take this a little further? One is the economics of it, right? Which you're saying you can sell it cheaper than anybody can. The product itself that I'm holding in my hand.
Yes.
Is this made by you, designed by you, marketed by you? What exactly is it?
So it is made by us. We use subcontract manufacturers, the same thing we did in India, okay, who put it together. In this case, instead of having the boards made in India, the boards were made in China, they were kitted in China, and we did the final assembly in India. So we need to understand who's defined the criteria as to what level of value add you need to do in India to call it made in India. The norm in India is if you do the assembly in India, you call it made in India.
So away from the controversy, let's bury that. Hopefully we've addressed some parts of it. The greatest problem that continues even now is for that dream to happen, you need to have some 20, 30, 40 lakh of these out there in the market. That isn't happening. As in, even now you have back orders for people.
What is your backlog, by the way, just to take that forward? I mean, surely you have a massive backlog right now.
Yeah, it's huge. It's in that 40 range.
30 to 40 lakh, and these are back orders for people who are willing to pay you more.
Yes.
Right? These are the UB Slate, your commercial version of the same.
Yes.
What about between the government and all these people? How are you going to manufacture so many? It's great to have visions and dreams, but no delivery.
So it's not no deliveries. There's some deliveries, not enough delivery.
Okay.
So we've placed more than 3 lakh units into the market. We are delivering 2,500, 3,000 on a daily basis, and we're trying to expand as much as we can.
Tuli, it's great talking to you as always. And as I was saying, we will of course take a closer look at the product, which is definitely much better than the Akash one. And now at that sort of a price point, it's a really nice product to have.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Good of you to come. Thank you.
Thank you.